I know that we are going to run out of fossil fuels eventually. It won't be in my lifetime. But by me, I mean, what's wrong with our generation that we've decided that drill, baby, drill, let's use up all of the fossil fuels in our lifetimes and leave nothing for the next generation. I mean, I always say like it's amazing. Future generations will look back at us and say like, you took all those valuable hydrocarbons that are good for so many different things and you burned them? What was the matter with this generation? The number one way to save money is to reduce your electric bill before you put it on the photovoltaics, because for every dollar you spend on saving, electrical savings, going to LEDs instead of incandescents, less energy consuming appliances, for every dollar you invest in that, you'll save $10 on your photovoltaic system. So start there. Then for whatever kilowatt hour size system you want, look for what other people are doing. And you can duplicate that. It's cheating a little bit, but it's a smart way to go. So I recommend buying existing things. It's so cheap now. I saw 42 cents a watt for modules the other day as an internet advertisement. Now that's not one, that's a bunch of them. But at the same time, 5 years ago, it was $4.20 a watt. Go get into a grid-tied system. You have to think about if the sun isn't, I mean, you build your system to provide the power you need, and then you have to think about how much energy you consume over the course of a day. And then you have to think about how long do I have to be able to store enough energy to get me through every night? If you care about that, you can just run out of electricity every night if you want, but if you don't, if you like to have electricity all the time, you have to store at least enough for a whole night. If you think it might be cloudy sometimes, and you want to have it last through a cloudy day, you have to put in even more batteries so that you then have storage to make it through, and that's called days of autonomy. Typically in New Mexico, they recommend being prepared to have 2 or 3 days of autonomy for your system. So when you get to system size, then you're going to look at things like, well, how much, especially if you're off-grid. Off-grid gets much more expensive because batteries are more expensive. So there's the voltage of the system will determine how many batteries you need to put in series in order to make the system work. So the higher the voltage, the more batteries you need to make the system work at all. Once you get the battery voltage to the system voltage, then how long your system will be able to provide power is how many of those strings of batteries you need in parallel. When you're making decisions, the status of the batteries, don't invest right now in a huge battery bank, because I guarantee you 5 years from now, you'll find that that wasn't the best investment. That a little bit of more research and waiting, you'll see the price of batteries drop. So if you're off-grid completely, you're going to need some sort of a charge controller that'll control the charging of your batteries off the system, and also usually there's a system to limit the discharge so that when has been cloudy for a couple days, it will not allow you to damage your batteries by over discharging them. The biggest concern with the inverter is you want to make sure you have a true sine wave inverter. If you're going to plug any kind of audio equipment, any kind of a timing device, they all need true sine wave or they don't work properly.